What's up, everybody? Belligerent here with another Bloodline video. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to counter specific matchups. And the matchup for today is everybody's favorite little spin to win girl, the Beyblade Beauty. Yes, we're talking about the female orc. A champion that has caused me many headaches throughout the campaign, and probably you as well. All right, so we're going to get into this. This is stage 930, if I can hit the button correctly. Okay, and you see here's our comp. This is how we're running it. I'm just going to run this. I pretty much know we're going to fail, but this is the comp that I got to this stage with. This is what we're going to go with for the opening stage, so you can see that it's not going to work. Some of you may wonder why I have this guy here in the back. That's your tank, Belligerent. Why do you have him in the back? Okay, let me explain that. It has nothing to do with the orc. I did it for this particular matchup, though, because they have, if you see in the back, they have the female dwarf marksman who has the badger pet. And what happens is the badger pet comes running up the middle and messes up all the auto targeting of your front line. So the 1, 2, and 3 slot are all going to end up targeting the badger, and I don't want that to happen to my dwarf because I want him to dash on somebody and stun them rather than stunning the badger. So I put him back here so he kind of makes it to the party late, and you'll see what happens. You'll see that he ends up stunning somebody else. And so that is why, if you're asking me, hopefully you're not watching this video going, this guy don't know what he's doing. He's playing his tank in the back. I got this tank up front here, see? But that's why I have the dwarf in the back for this particular match. So we're going to watch this match through. We're going to see how it goes. I can guarantee you it's going to go poorly. Okay, so you see right there, I actually get the stun on my dwarf, or from my dwarf onto that warrior instead of the badger. Okay, so you see here, the spin to win girl is causing havoc. My spin to win girl is dead and gone. Kind of like the Justin Timberlake song. That probably dates me, but and this is just not going to go well. Okay, and so you see, by the time it's all said and done, it's 1v4. I'm not going to have it finish this and play all this through. Okay, we're just going to exit out of it because he's not going to 1v4 them. I have seen some pretty outrageous things with that dwarf, but he's not going to 1v4 them. All right, so when we look at this composition, let's talk about what we see. Okay, now I want to point out one thing. What makes this matchup particularly difficult is that their female orc is in the number 2 slot. And here, let me clear mine out in case you don't know what numbers I'm talking about. There, you can see that. So their female orc is in the number 2 slot. She's not in number 1. She's not in number 3, but she's in number 2. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to get your front line to target whoever's in the 2 spot. You can get to the 4 and 5. You can get to the 1 and 3. Those are all easy. The 2 spot is almost impossible to get to and have them target it first. Okay, so that's one thing that makes this particularly difficult. All right. The other thing is my composition. So let me put this put them back on the board so you can see this. So 2 things are working against me in this situation. The first one being the male Tidestorm. Okay, a great counter to the Tidestorm is the female orc. If you watched my video on composition, you may remember that my goal in that video was to get the Tidestorm to pull my spin to win girl into the middle of their team so she could wipe them out. It didn't work out in that video, but there are several times during the campaign where it does work out. So The female orc is a great counter to the tide storm if you're having problems with the Mr. Scorpion there, who likes to yank people across the board. Um, Drop the female orc on your board, and when he pulls her, he'll most of the time pull her right into the middle of their team, and then she'll do her little spin to win thing and wipe out the team. Okay, so that's number one. So we don't want him on the board because he's going to do the same thing in reverse, right? He's going to end up pulling her into the team. Even if I've had it down, I've had it to where I killed their whole team. I had 4 of my team left against the female orc. Had my dwarf over there fighting her and keeping her in place. And, like a mage and stuff. And the tide storm in the back, hitting her from distance. And what happens? He throws out the harpoon. He yanks her back into everybody. And she wipes out my team. So, tide storm versus spin to win girl, not a good matchup. Okay. The other thing that is working against me with the composition I have on the board are all these melee champions. Okay. You don't want melee against spin to win girl. Why? Because they all gather around her, and that's exactly what she's built to do, is get a group of people around her and spin and kill them all. And if she doesn't wipe out everybody, she just refilled back to full health. So good luck killing her before her ultimate is back up again. Okay. Ideally, you want one body on her with the rest being range. Now, one great counter to the female orc, if she was in the 1 or the 3 spot. So if she was here or if she was here, okay? Again, it doesn't work in the 2 spot, but if she was in the 1 or the 3 spot, the male Sallyhorn is a phenomenal counter. Because what he'll do, if you put him directly across from her, is he will do his little dash ram thing and shove her into the back line. And they'll fight, and they'll fight, and they'll fight. And because he's so tanky, she won't kill him. And because she's so tanky, because every time her ultimate goes off, she just refills her health, he won't kill her. What they end up doing is basically having a little dance in the back line. And what happens is his dash will trigger again, and he'll push her further away, and further away, and further away, and basically leave you in a 4v4 situation. And then when your team wins, they can all converge on the orc that he has pinned up against the wall somewhere, and they can finish the match for you. So that's ideal, but we can't do that here because she's not in the 1 or the 3 slot. And they have the Badger that, frankly, even if she was in the 1 or the 3 spot, the Badger would throw off my targeting. So I would have to try to target her the same way I targeted the Warrior on this go round. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to swap out my composition. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the new comp that I have on the board, and we're going to see if we can get that to beat this stage. All right, so we're back. So now let's take a look at what we have going on here, okay? We still have the male dwarf. We still have the female Ignis. Those were in the original composition, okay? But now instead of the tide storm, I have the female elven archer. Instead of the other 2, I have the female luxuriant that I just took off of the board on accident. So I have her, and I have him in the back here. So what we're hoping for, okay, what's going to happen, this is what we know is going to happen, is the dwarf is not going to dash and hit him, unfortunately, because of the marksman in the back. The Badger is going to come up, and the dwarf is going to dash diagonally, basically in the middle of everybody here, and hit the Badger first, okay? So we know that's going to happen. What we're hoping for is that he stays alive and he kind of pushes the pile back as they continue to target him, all right? Now, The reason I have him, the Lycan, in the back is because I want him to arrive late to the party. He's a melee. He's not ideal for this. He's probably going to die quickly. If I had to guess, he's probably going to die on the first spin to win from the female orc. But what I'm hoping for is that he makes his way up here to the pile that's all gathered around the dwarf. So he shows up late, so he's not targeted. But by the time he gets up here, it won't take long before his active ability pops off, which is the fear, which should then push the pile back further away from all of the range that I have. Okay, so hopefully we have enough damage to do this. Hopefully the Luxuriant will get off some good charms, and we will have enough time to clear them out. But what we are looking for is distance. We want their melees going away from us. The more space between my range and their team, the better. So let's start this up and watch it play out. So, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so you see the fear goes off there and everybody starts running. We got our dwarf almost on the back line. Everybody's still targeting him, so that's good. There's the spin to win. And like I said, the Lycan dies in that first time. Now, we got to hope for some damage here. Our dwarf is causing havoc, but he's got the entire team targeting him. So we got to hope that he can stay alive long enough for us to do some damage. Hopefully for the Luxuriant to get off some more charms to help us double our damage. Okay, it's looking good for us right now. Hopefully the dwarf can stay alive just a little bit longer. Come on, Sallyhorn. This other charm will help. And it looks like, there we go. Pulled it off. Okay. So you see there, you see how that comp worked. You see how that composition was designed to counter the spin to win, right? We want her to only have one target to spin on. We want her to stay far away from our ranged player, or from our ranged champions. Okay, so the male Sallyhorn is a godsend for countering the female orc because he is so tanky. And I've actually been playing around with his traits. I'm probably going to do a video on him because I'm actually surprised how much I like him. If you've watched my videos, you know I wasn't a fan of the Sallyhorn clan in the beginning, but this is a different story. But the Sallyhorn is a very good, the male, not the female, very good counter to the female orc. But even if you don't have him, you can kind of see what you need to do to counter her if you're struggling with her. And you see our stats there. Here, look at how much damage he tanked for me. 771,000 damage he took during that time. Okay. And then you see we had plenty of damage coming out of my female Ignis, the 794,000, almost 795,000, and then another 607,000 from the Elven Archer. So, and our crowd controls worked. The fear did its job perfectly. I told you he was going to die on the first spin to win, but he got the fear off, and the fear was very, very necessary to make sure their comp stayed away. Because if I didn't have that fear, the male Sallyhorn would push further into the back, and then at some point he would have gotten out of range, and one of their, or both of their warriors would have turned and attacked my range heroes. And that's why we needed the fear from the male Lycan. So hopefully that helps you learn how to counter her. That's not the only way to counter her. Actually, ideally, and I don't have one because I used it for an ascension, I would have run one of the hunt dwarfs. Male or female doesn't matter, because if I have my own badger, then their front line is going to converge on the Badger. And then that's also going to keep their front line from targeting my back lines, or in this case, my range, because they weren't all on the back line. But I didn't have one, so that's why I went with the male Lycan. I could have possibly used both. There's lots of different ways. The point of this is not for you to copy what I did, but you can if you want to or need to. But the point of this is to help you see how to counter Miss Spin to Win, how to counter that Beyblade beauty, even though she's not beautiful. I get it. It's alliteration. Come on, it's alliteration. Anyways, so I hope this helped. If you like this video, leave a like. It only takes one click. Leave a like. That lets me know you want to see more of this type of content. So leave me a like, leave me a comment, ask questions, share with me what your counters for her are, because I'm sure I haven't found out all the counters. I'd love to hear yours. Like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. I am Belligerent. Peace.